A cup of coffee, then I'll go. Thought that I'd just drop by and let you know that I'm leaving town tomorrow. I'll cause you no more sorrow. I'll just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go. I brought the money like the lawyer said to do. It won't replace all the heartaches I've caused you. It won't take the place of loving you, I know. Just happy, then I'll go.
Welcome back to the channel, Grand Colombia, and welcome to Coffee Time Live here in Armenia, Colombia, which is in the department of Quindío. You know, it's funny, you talk to local people here by message. Excuse me. I'm feeling great, by the way. By message, and if they're not from here, you say Armenian, they think you're talking about Europe. I said, no, Quindío. Okay, what do we got? Mike, how you doing, Mike? Hope you don't mind when I send people your way. I thought you would enjoy meeting you. Dan, how you doing? Good morning. Rob, back in Fort Lauderdale. Good to know. Mike, nerves? Yeah, sometimes. Yuka, how you doing? Let me put this up here. Thank you. Appreciate it. William, I've been trying to reach you. Maybe you changed your WhatsApp, or maybe you got me blocked. I don't know. Good morning. Look much better and energetic. I'm feeling great. Just to get it out of the way, I haven't felt this good since the beginning of last year. I was sick for a long time. I didn't realize when I was getting sick how sick I was. You know, anyway, I'm feeling great. I got a few vestiges left over, so I cough a little bit once in a while, particularly in the morning. Sleeping great. I got more energy than I've had since the beginning of last year. This coming week, I believe I can start walking again. I can't wait to get out of this house. I can't wait. And Anonymous, thank you. I happen to know Jerry. I happen to know that it's you, but thank you very much. And what else we got? Dan, good morning. Looking spunky. I don't know if that's good or not, but definitely feeling good. Hello from beautiful Pereira. Ha. Okay, very funny. I know that's a joke, right?
I really like it.
Okay, we got... thing about being trapped in the house, you don't talk very much. So if my throat gets kind of, or my voice has more to do with being idle than anything else. I'm absolutely not sick right now. As a matter of fact, I'm down to the last medication that I have to take at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's for the water in my legs and feet. And they're almost back to normal. Not blocked. Don't know why I have trouble reaching you. I don't know. Emil, good morning. Feels good to be back. You're back? Are you back? That's a question. I mean, yes, I'm back, but are you back? And when are you coming back? I got some news today. That's my plan for today. Is cover a few articles. I think you'll get a laugh out of the last one. Good morning from the beach. Must be nice. Well, not really. I don't care for the beach anymore. I lay out on the beach and they come along, try to push me back out in the water thinking I got beached. Okay, so here's first article. Have you already made your reservations? Occupancy in hotels in Quindío by the beginning of 2023 may exceed 90%. That means prices will go up. It means a lot of pent-up tourism, particularly from people inside Colombia, is breaking loose. I know Cartagena has been getting hammered. It's traditional for people in the Andes to take these pilgrimages, either for birthday, graduation, whatever it may be, to Cartagena. Hang out at the beach for a week, come back. Doesn't matter. You can be poor as poor can be, and that's still what's going to happen. And Cartagena has been getting hammered. And I believe Quindío is going to be pretty much the same. It's still raining. You know, as a matter of fact, you know my thing about Armenia, one of the things that I love about Armenia is that the weather is somewhat predictable. Doesn't really rain hardly ever until afternoon or the evening. Used to be mostly in the evening, like 2 in the morning. Well, it's kind of raining. It reminds me of Manizales. It rains whenever the hell it wants to. And it's really kind of annoying. On the other hand, if it's going to do it, perfect time, since I've been stuck in a house for months. But I plan on going out, hopefully, this week. I'm listening to the doctor. She's awesome. And I'm going to wait till she says it's cool. I will say this. A little over a week ago, I was kind of desperate. I haven't been able to go do banking. And the way I do I needed to go to the ATM and withdraw money. And then I have to put some money in different places so I could pay my bills and things like that. And I haven't been able to do it. And so I asked somebody here if they could. I probably should have asked 3 weeks before, but you hate to ask anybody to do anything for you, but it was kind of desperate. So please, would you? And he said, oh yeah, absolutely. So he did it, flawless, did it perfectly. It was awesome, saved my life. On the other hand, come do again, because it was actually should have been done weeks before. So I did sneak out. However, I called the taxi to my door. I took it over to the mall. I walked from the front of the mall inside to the escalator to the second floor, went to the ATM there, and then distributed things there, walked back out, got in a taxi. And I'll say this, it was great being out, but my feet hurt like hell when I got back. And I don't know if I'm going to tell the doctor that I went out ahead of time. Her concern is that I can actually do some kind of damage because my feet haven't been like normal size. I don't know about that. Okay. Good morning from Jacksonville. Good morning. Emil, finally got my visa. Awesome. And good to know you're back. Okay. So, hotel issue. It means that all the great deals that I talked about 4, 5, even 6 years ago, they're pretty much not there anymore. Not only you got the inflation thing going on, but it just over time. And now when you add a high occupancy rate, it's up there. So places that used to be the equivalent of $8 to $10 a night, nice places, do not exist anymore. Now to get a nice place, you're probably more in the $30 and up range. So it's, quite a change from 5 or 6 years ago, but that's just how it is. On the other hand, your money's worth considerably more. Not twice as much, but considerably more. So you have to take that into account too. And it's hard to, you have to keep that in perspective because, you sit here and, you buy a dozen eggs that a year ago, it was half as much as they're charging now. And you go, holy crap. And then you think about the exchange rate and it's like, yeah, it's barely noticeable if you look at it that way. And then your next thought is, damn, how are the people here dealing with it? It sucks. But it also shows that there's I talked about it before. Everybody thinks, well, everybody in Colombia is so poor. And I say, no, it's not like that. Statistically, 27% of the people, but let's say 30 or so, live at a struggling rate. But that leaves a whole bunch of people, vast majority of people that are doing okay. And when you have all the things that are going on, you still have people buying cars and it's, if anything, stores are busier. Vacations have been coming out. The places they're building are getting sold. So, you got to keep that in mind. I mean, if you're poor, you're poor. Which reminds me, before I get to the next item, I got actually 2 emails, and it's something that has been asking me in a long time, and I get 2 in a couple days. I was asked if I would talk more about my childhood. And I don't mind doing it. I mean, anything that was related to me personally would kill me. I couldn't talk about it. But I've kind of gotten over that by doing this. But the only time I really talk about things like that is to put something that I'm discussing into context. There's a reason for it. But just to talk about, I don't think that's something that makes sense to do on coffee time. I'll take your opinion. That's something, maybe I can do that on my private channel. Maybe I could do that if you're interested. I don't know why. I mean, it was about 800 years ago, but, let me know. Turtle, on a plane leaving Bucaramanga for Bogota. I'll have to watch later when I hit Manizales. Okay. What the heck? Something just went off and it sounds like some kid's show. Or maybe it's an alarm? I don't know. You might have to get up and find it and turn it off. Fortunately, you guys don't get to hear it. Dan, our utilities have gone up about 40% in the last year. It won't kill me, but it has to be miserable. Yeah, it's a real issue. All right. I have to run and check this out. Please don't go away. I promise you it won't be more than 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. You're welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive?
Well, that was interesting. Last night, the power went out for about a minute. And the Alexa in the bedroom, of course, lost its power. No, I'm not talking to you. And for whatever reason, it must not have connected until just now. And I don't know what the hell it was on. It's nothing that I've ever... I had it... Anyway. So let's get back to the matters at hand. Next article. Judy, good morning. How you doing, Judy? Judy. All right. Condillo present at the world's largest tourism fair. That was held in Madrid, Spain. So as you can imagine, this is a worldwide tourism fair held in one location this year in Madrid. And Condillo sent a representation and presentation and all that. So it's kind of a big deal if you're, from here. And as a result of the mayor, he doesn't get credit for everything, although he was part of it. They made a new alliance between Condillo, Spain, and Mexico right at the beginning as this thing started. And I won't go into it. You can find it, but there's going to be some mutual exchange of tourists. They're going to put together various plans and things like that. So that's pretty cool. I mean, they are so active here. They're very open to outside businesses, not just tourism. Like the call centers that opened up this last year that made a huge difference. As a matter of fact, there was a couple months towards the end of 2022 that had Armenia or Condillo as the lowest unemployment rate in the entire country. Excuse me, because of some of these things. So it's pretty awesome. Pardon. Okay, what's next? Okay, in 2022, the employment rate fell to 9.5%. In 2021, it was 11.5%. So that's pretty awesome news, too. I mean, if you're going to have inflation, it's best to face it if you're employed, right? And so that's pretty cool. Okay, here's an anonymous, and I don't know who it is. You guys probably already saw it. I'm just noticing it. So whoever this anonymous is, thank you very much. And I'm looking. I know who it is. Thank you, Sherry. So much for being anonymous. I leave the last name off, but thank you. All right, so unemployment keeps improving. That's pretty good. And if you say, wait a minute, 9.5% is horrible. It's not the best. On the other hand, I'll say this again. When I lived here 20 years ago, it was higher than 50%. Those were crazy times. It was a Wild West. It was, man, they cut your fingers off to take a ring. It was rough time back then. I loved it. But, it was before I got cancer and I was fit and strong and I used to be a tough SOB. So, times change. All right. This is the one I think you're going to like. Here we go. Now, pay attention to this. See if you can figure it out before I tell you. President Petro asked the ICBF, that's an organization think of WIC. It's an organization to help feed children, not to buy more, translated as well, being basically food to feed children. And you see the bags here. It's prohibited for sale. This is basically food stuff. And his reasoning is that this stuff is all imported and that it's a higher expense because it's imported. And because, there's so much industry farming that goes on in Colombia, you should buy it internally. You should put something together and buy it internally from the farmers here. Sounds great, right? man, this guy, he's really on the ball, right? Problem is, this stuff is all produced and made and sacked and handed out in Colombia. There's not a bit of this stuff that's imported. How do you open your mouth and spew out such crap without asking somebody if what you're going to say makes any sense? Okay, so he's an idiot, and everybody just kind of looks the other way. It sounds familiar. Okay. Stony, have you followed what happened in Peru and Brazil? I feel bad for the people. I haven't. I was trying to survive. I'm not exaggerating. It was that bad. It's hard for me to even think back on it now because I feel so good. But it's bad when everything loses color and you're seeing in black and white. So I've been dealing with my own struggles, particularly for the past month, until last week when I started feeling better. And I got a lot of things to catch up on, so I haven't. So feel free to send me a message. You can even put it down here now. That's fine with me. And I'll take a look. Although I don't really talk much about Peru. Never been to Brazil. Been to Peru. What'd your mother always tell you? Yeah, I've traveled many places. And there's just certain places they just don't hit for me. And Peru was one of them. When I first went to Peru, I crossed the border into this little town, and all I could smell was pee. And checked into the hotel, and they told me, don't go out after 6 o'clock. Don't go out after dark. It's very dangerous. So I had to know. So about 8 o'clock, I went out walking around. I was curious. What are they talking about? Well, it was nothing but gang members out. All the families were gone. It was just gang members. And a lot of them were drinking, and they're just peeing wherever they wanted to pee. Just peeing on the sidewalks, peeing up against the side of the building. But when you come in, that's what you smell. It used to be that way in Ecuador, but they changed it, to their credit. But it's still that way in much of Peru. And it's just kind of gross. And it just goes downhill from there. So not a fan. And, since this is a channel about Gran Colombia, which Colombia is a main part of that, there's a lot of places that just don't really hit it for me here in Colombia. And I've said this many times before. I love San Andreas, the island in the Caribbean. It's awesome. Obviously, I love Armenia. I love the city of Manizales. Bucaramanga is a pretty awesome place like that. But a lot of the places like Medellin and Bogota, the popular places, they're not for me. I don't care for them. I don't like pollution. I don't like insane traffic. I don't like overcrowded. I don't like the crime that comes with it. All of those things. And you find that in Medellin. You find it even more so in Bogota. At least Medellin is a modern place that's got a few amazing areas of the city. So it's got its redeeming features and climate and all of that. They got flooded out. I didn't get flooded out here, but they got flooded. It was in the news. I put it up in our Facebook page. Cartagena, for me, it's way too hot, but even more than that, it's got way too much poverty. It's just not fun to be around. It's there, but if you're not there doing something about it, it's a pretty uncomfortable thing. Like I couldn't go back to Cartagena and be touristy because all that poverty is there. I mean, you feel almost compelled to do something. So, you know, it's not very cool. Oh, let's see. Hold on. San Francisco is like that now. Yeah. Well, Bart smells like piss. Yeah, well, pee is the least of your worries there, but you know, that's preventable and predictable, and it's not doesn't have that much to do with poverty. It's a damn shame. You know, it used to be a crown jewel of the U.S. and man, not really a place you want to go anymore. All right, so much for the negative talk. Well, let me get rid of that. We have here. Okay, so I got through the articles. Hope you got a laugh out of the last one. We're pretty much on time, on schedule. Do you have any questions? And will I be able to answer them? Do I even remember what it's like to go outside and see Colombia? I got a lot of visitors over time. But I'll tell you, this was a shock. Going by in the taxi. You know, the mall is right next to me. It was called Kalima Mall. Driving by. And I noticed the side of the building is starting to look kind of raggedy, like paint's peeling. I think they pulled some signs off or something. It's pretty fail, pretty ugly. But then I see this thing up there. It says Plaza Flores. I said, what the hell? Is that a new store? And then I see the sign, that pillar thing in the front. And instead of Kalima Mall, it says Plaza Flores. And it's got a new logo. Apparently, the place changed hands while I was sitting in my chair dying. I guess the world keeps moving, right? Interesting. You know, so I saw that when I took taxi to the bank, and I'm thinking, what the hell else has changed? Things move here. And I'll bet you a crap ton of things have changed. So I can't wait to get out and start walking around and kind of relearn the place that I live and love so much. All right, we got anything? Anyone? If not, we'll cut it off early. I don't have a Buffalo Bills football game to go to because it's later. The only constant is change. That's absolutely true. How did you know that? I mean, I thought I created that saying. Okay, how you doing, Reese? You're overdue for coming back. Oh, something else happened. Hopefully it's not an ongoing thing or it's not a sign of something. But because I was stuck in the house, everything had to be delivered, through Rappi. So going back, I don't know, a while back, I ordered something up and they messaged me, well, they don't have this and they don't have that. Okay. In the app, you can replace it with something or you can get a refund on it or whatever. And so we go through that. Next thing I know, the order's canceled. That's happened 5 times in the last, well, I'd say the last week and a few days. And then prior, I would say after Christmas, but before New Year's, before I got really bad. Because I didn't order, I didn't eat. I mean, I just was kind of there. So it began after Christmas. I wasn't really surprised about that. Over the holidays, you never know. Kind of shocked that it happened so many times this past week. I don't know what that's about. All right. If you went back to Buffalo, I think you'll see a lot more change, and not for the better. Well, I'm not really from Buffalo, and the Buffalo Bills play in Orchard Park, which is quite a ways south of Buffalo. When I lived in New York, I lived in Bristol, in Rochester, mostly around Hemlock Lake. I had a couple houses there. I lived in Geneseo, so that part of the state. And I'll bet you that if I went back there, probably not much of anything has changed, because it never seems to change. Where do you think the dollar is going against the peso? No idea. There's no way to predict. It's been hovering here for a number of months now, kind of nice, between 46 and 5. Really enjoying that. The way I see it, anything over 38 is a huge windfall. It's certainly helped my life. It took me off the edge of the fence and put me on the positive side, where actually, I could actually go out to dinner once a month or something. It's been nice. What city do you live in now that you love? I live in Armenia, Candio. You must just tuned in. I lived in Manizales. I've lived in Pereira. I've covered most of Colombia, and I love the coffee region, but in particular Armenia. And Manizales is a close runner-up. Pereira, I lived there 20 years ago. I've been back a million times since, and I still don't like it. It doesn't mean there aren't nice areas. It doesn't mean it wouldn't be a good place to live. But I don't know. Sometimes you get memories that you can't get past, and it's just not worth. Armenia's here. And when I lived in Pereira, I would pretty much every weekend, I would end up coming out, because I was working. I would end up coming out to, I was working during the week and I had the weekends off. So every weekend it'd be out to Candio, Armenia, this whole area. When you're up to it, I request an updated batch of walking videos. Yeah, I've been watching Cuenca walks in Ecuador. They're long and mostly unedited, very calming, as in boring. It would be good to see Armenia today. Well, you do know that I got a lot of walk-in videos here in Armenia. I mean, a ton of them. Probably at least 100 or so. I'm from Calarca. I am moving back there in May after 33 years in the U.S. Calarca has changed a lot. Calarca has become a city unto itself. It's always been like a little one, but it's really spreading out. It's coming into its own. It used to be the pimple on the butt of Armenia, and now it's become the smaller twin. It's an interesting place. And in a lot of ways, it would be a good place to live. I've spent a lot of time there. I've done some walk-in videos in Calarca. They've got maybe some of the best restaurants. A couple of the best restaurants between Armenia and Calarca are actually in Calarca. It's a pretty awesome place. Okay, so what do we got here? Time for new ones. Yeah, I know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is, because the thing is, if you actually go back and look at my videos walking around Armenia, except for places that absolutely no one would ever want to go, I pretty much covered everywhere. I got places in the south. I got all over Armenia. If you wanted to see a place, you will find it in one of those videos, if not more. And so, you know, when I think about it, it's like, where am I going to go that I haven't done? And you know, what can I do I really want to do a carbon copy pretty much of, you know, what's already been done? But, you know, maybe it's time. I'll give it a thought. I'll take any ideas, maybe something fresh in a way that I haven't done it before or something, because it'd be a good excuse now that I can get out walking. I'm anxious to do it, and it would be fruitful if I could do videos at the same time. Kalarka is like Dos Quebradas to Armenia's Pereira. Well, there's something like that. Dos Quebradas, much more sprawling, and it used to be just the bedroom community to Pereira, because it's actually where I lived most of the time back in the day. It was very poor, and it was like a bedroom community. And Calarca is like a pueblo, a little city of its own. Dos Quebradas now, it's gotten huge. It's huge. Okay. Did you ever watch, yeah, he's another YouTube, yeah. Okay, you know what I think about Kali, right? If you don't have anything nice to say, I'm certainly not here to slam people and I'd like to answer you, but I can't really answer you. Let me put it that way. Okay. Got anything else? That was awkward. I feel awkward over that, because I rarely run into something that I'm not going to answer. Okay. All that glitters is not gold. All right. We got any other questions? Better place for the beach, Cartagena or Santa Marta? Well, I haven't been to Santa Marta. I haven't been to Barranquilla. I have ex-wife relatives living in Santa Marta, and to hear them say it, it's the best place to go. I have no idea. If you like Miami Beach kind of beaches, then Cartagena is for you. You got the high rises, you got all kinds of activities, you got all these beautiful yachts and things. It's pretty awesome if you're into the beach scene. One of the things that bugs me is you have all this, it's just all this money, and it's gorgeous. But you go into the city, you get past the first few blocks, and you got this abject poverty. I mean, it's bad, and there's a lot of crime, and it's dirty. It's way too hot. So yeah, but when I went, I wanted to see the fort, the old Spanish deal, and that was everything that I thought it would be, maybe more. It was pretty awesome. And the thickness of the walls, damn, that, I mean, I knew, but you got to see it. And that's pretty cool. The history of the place is actually what caused me to want to go see. Yeah, I haven't been into beaches since my 20s. Maybe my last sunburn did it for me. Yeah, because I haven't been to Santa Marta personally, I can't really tell you. But Cartagena is certainly pretty spectacular if that's what you like. If I were into beaches, I love San Andreas is awesome, and even though it's 100 or so miles south of Jamaica, and island English, Jamaican style English is spoken there. Colombia owns it, and a lot of Colombians moved in and bought up things, and so a lot of Spanish is spoken there, probably more Spanish now. But it's got some amazing beaches. It's got so many things to do. If I were going to go to a beach type of thing, it would be San Andreas. It's not all that expensive to get there. And they've got that hotel chain that's there. You do a one price, like 10 days will cost you $1,500 or whatever it is. And that gives you admittance to all the different restaurants and all the entertainment and all of that, to all the different places that circle the island. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, it would definitely be there because there's so much more to do and see than just, go get a sunburn. So there's that. I found Boyacá in the Marca region surprisingly beautiful. Pueblos have different feel. That's true versus coffee region. It's true, and one of the beauties of Colombia is no matter where you go, it's different. I mean, you have these regions, and they're all very unique unto themselves. You can kind of blindfold and find yourself in the middle of it, and if you've been to these places, you say, "Oh, I know where we are." It's very cool. What is the best beach in Colombia nearest to Armenia? I don't know. I tell you, I'm not a beach guy. But get in an airplane, fly to San Andreas. You don't want to go to Buenaventura. As a matter of fact, you don't want to go there. It is flat out dangerous. It is not recommended to go. Now, I know people go. I get that, but you have to play the odds, right? And if you have a high risk of various problems versus going somewhere where there's very low risk, why on earth would you put yourself in a situation where you could have problems? It just doesn't make sense. It's just not the place to go. I've been to both Cartagena and Santa Marta, tourist versus quiet little beaches. Yeah, that's the way I understand it too. And Cartagena's that Miami Vice, it's like you got the long beaches and the high-rise hotels and, the yachts and the nice car. You got all of that going on. And then you go to Santa Marta and, from what my ex-relatives tell me is, cool, and not cool as in temperature, but it's cool, laid back, tranquilo. It's and probably way more expensive in Cartagena would be my guess. I think that's why a lot of Colombians will live in Santa Marta that love the beach. All right. Buenaventura has whale watching, but it's a more dangerous region. They do have whale watching, but you can go to, if you're into the whale watching, I would suggest you go to Ecuador and you get on one of the whale watching tours there. They have some very interesting ones. There's some islands outside of the Galapagos that have some of the unique animals that only live in the Galapagos. why is that stuck? I said it the first time, you know, there, and it's not just there, but these are these few outlying islands that have some of these same animals, some of the flightless birds and turtles and things like that. So you not only can go out whale watching, but you can see that which you won't see anywhere else, and it's all part of it. Cost wise, lower to go to Santa Marta. That was my guess. I was thinking Santa Marta and go to La Guajira would be more the beach vibes I'd like. I
really like it.
I mean, she goes around promoting it, and it looks interesting. Off the beaten path, probably way cheaper. So there's that. Are the prices in PriceSmart still through the roof? Still? I don't think, I never thought they were that bad. It's a U.S. product store mostly, and it's kind of U.S. prices. Galapagos. Okay. I haven't been to PriceSmart in a few months, maybe a little more, but I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, if you want to go in and buy U.S. products, you're going to pretty much pay what you pay in the U.S., which is going to be more than what you get here. The upside is U.S. products tend to have really good quality, or at least the things that they carry in PriceSmart are the things that are, maybe a little bit better quality. If you go into Costco, it's mostly going to be better quality things, or at least not the worst stuff. And, PriceSmart's pretty much the same. Too many A's. Yeah. Galapagos. Okay. What else we got? Anything? We probably run our time out here. Yeah, so don't be alarmed. I know I don't tell you guys things until I have to, but I'm absolutely telling you, I'm feeling wonderful. I haven't felt this good since the beginning of last year. And what you're hearing is just got to exercise it. You have to use it, And what was it? Robert came here. And I swear I talked his ear off because I hadn't had a chance to talk in quite a while. Anyway, good to see you feeling so much better. Have a good week. Yeah, definitely feeling great. And, to all you people, many of you that wrote me, I just wasn't into writing back. I just didn't have the energy to do it. But I read everybody's. I really appreciate it, and thank you. And that's what motivated me to put that video up on my private channel to clue you in on the details of what was going on. And private channel, let me know if you're actually, if there's enough of you actually interested in my childhood. God knows why you would be. But if you are, I'll throw up some pictures and things like that. And, I'll do it. That flu surrounding Armenia is still around. It's not really a flu. And, yeah, as far as I know, but it's not something to hear. It's all over the U.S. It's everywhere. There was an article. This was weird. There's an article, and I don't believe it's unique to Colombia, but it was a Colombian article that I read that said that there's a new variation out that if you've been vaccinated, you're far more susceptible to catch it than if you never were. And it's, you know, there were a lot of people that were saying that with no reason to say it for a period of time, and now it's, you know, it seems to come to pass. Yeah, it's, you know, it's, there's all kinds of variations floating around the world now. You know, cat's out of the bag, and I don't know, I guess we'll see where it goes. We still don't know exactly what happened to me. You know, she thinks she knows, but once I start walking, I've got to go and get some tests and things like that. But anyway, we're gonna end it here. Thank you all. Go Bills. I'll see you next Sunday. Ciao.
Oh.